Good morning. Welcome to the E3 Weekly Market Report. It is October the 6th. Exports have just come out. Let's take a look at what we've got. Cotton sales of 158,900 running bales. That's up 73% from the previous week, but down 18% from the prior 4-week average. We've got Vietnam taking 53,200 running bales. South Korea taking 37,100 running bales, and China taking 29,500 running bales. And as we look through Indonesia, Thailand, we've got, as we have seen, pretty good broad-based demand. Looking at cotton, the cotton market was down 5 just before this report. Right now it's down 10. So it's actually weakened a small amount. Let's look at next at soybeans. Soybeans net sales of this is a large number, 2,179,600. Expecting a large number. We'll see if there's much of a reaction here. Looking at the breakdown, we've got China took 1,487,000 metric tons. Unknown destinations took 318,400 metric tons. Indonesia took 94,400 metric tons. Soybeans were down 4.5 before the report. Right now they're down 3, so a slight firming up there. We'll next go to corn, 2,060,800 metric tons. Mexico took 1,251,100 metric tons. Japan took 201,100 metric tons, so just a little over 200,000. Saudi Arabia took 136,800 metric tons of corn. Corn before the report was down a penny. Right now it is down 1/2 cent. It's firmed up a small amount. Also, wheat net sales of 377,000 metric tons. That's down 34% from the previous week and down 31% from the 4-week average. The Philippines took 104,000 metric tons. Japan took 97,800 metric tons, and Thailand took 75,000 metric tons. Reaction in wheat. Wheat was up 2.25 before the report. It's now up 2.5. Let's take a look at some of the developments of last week. We had crop progress and harvest progress out on Monday. Cotton, good to excellent, 49%, 1% better than the previous week. The crop is at that time was 16% harvested. This time of the year, the average is normally 14%. Looking at soybeans, good to excellent, 74%. That's a slight improvement over the previous week. The crop under the harvested progress, 26% harvested for soybeans versus the average this time of the year of 27%. Corn in the good to excellent category, 73%. That's 1% less than the previous week. And under harvest, we've got 24% of the crop harvested, and the average this time of the year is 27%. Winter wheat, 43% planted. The average is about 45%, and under emerged, we've got 20% of the crop in winter wheat emerged, and the average this time of the year is 17%. Let's look at what's happened in the markets lately. We have cotton over the last 6 days. We've seen a high of 70, which was yesterday, and the low back on December the 30th for almost a 300-point range. The expectations for that market, we could see lows down towards 66 to 67. We could see highs above 70, maybe up to 71 or even 72, but the 72 might be pushing it some. Seasonal tendency for cotton is in the first part of October, or during the month of October. The market typically bounces. It consolidates and bounces. We'll see if that's going to happen from these levels. And then the seasonal low in cotton normally comes in mid-November to the first part of December. Looking at grains, soybeans, the range over the last 2 weeks, a high of 975 made October the 3rd, a low back December the 27th of 9.34, so a full range of 41 cents. Expectation is maybe for a low in November soybeans that are right now trading at 9.52.5. Maybe seeing a market get as low as 9.30 to 9.35. I'm sorry, a low of 9.35 to 9.40. Maybe a high up toward 9.90, even pushing against $10. I'll say this about beans. It's true of corn too. This is a big crop, and it's also we're seeing big demand. So the challenge for these markets and grains is to digest the market. There's a lot of demand, but there's a lot of crop, and oftentimes that leads to a sideways price action throughout the harvest. And we could very well see that here, as we see by these exports, big exports right now. Corn, the range over the last 5 days, a high of 349.25 yesterday, a low of 325 back on September the 30th. September the 30th low of 325, a range of 24.5 cents. Expectations, the market could get down and revisit the 325 level. The high could be up toward 360. Just like soybeans, the tendency is for the low to come in right at the 1st of October in corn and soybeans. Wheat, the range over the last 5 days, a high of 408.5, a low of 390 for a range of 18.5 cents. Expectations is somewhere a low maybe toward 390, a high up toward 430, and seasonal tendency is to follow corn and soybeans. So that's it. Let's look one last time at the markets. We have cotton down 8, so it's slightly lower than just before the numbers came out in exports. Soybeans are down 4.5. That's exactly where they were before the exports. Corn's down 1.25, very close to where it was. And wheat's up 2.25, exactly where it was. So no real reaction. The market anticipated these levels, and there's no real reaction right now. So that's it. Hope you have a good day, and thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the E3 Weekly Market Report.